Alright, this video is a bit of a revision on percentages. Anyway, so let's have a look at percentages. So percentages, some ways to think of it, is per century. And a century, of course, is 100 years, or 100 runs in cricket. So it's per 100, or for every 100, or a fraction out of 100. So percentage, 40% is basically 40 for every 100, or 40 out of 100. So I can write it as 40 out of 100. And of course I can simplify that down. I could make that 4 out of 10 or 2 out of 5 if I wanted to. As a decimal percentage, well, actually if I want to change a decimal into a fraction into a decimal, I've got 2 on 5, and that looks awfully like a divided by sign, and that's not a coincidence. So what we would have to do is we'd go 2 divided by 5, and that gives me 0.4, and we'd write that 0.4 in there. And so you can see that actually 40% and 0.4, all I've really done is move the decimal point. I've moved it 2 places. I go 1, 2 to there, so I get 0.4. So I can do the same with this number here, move the decimal place 2 places. I can go 1, 2. Okay, I need a placeholder in there, and there's my decimal point. So decimal is 0.03 here. This one, 1, 2, 0.68 here, 1, 2. Put a placeholder in there like that, and I get 0.001. What about fractions? Okay, so 3% is going to be, is going to be 3 out of 100, and I can't simplify that, so it's fine. 68%, 68 out of 100. Now 68 out of 100 I can simplify. They're both even, so I could do 34 out of 50, and they're both even again, so 25, and half of 34 is 17. Now, because 17 is a prime number, I can't break it down anymore. So that one is going to be 17 out of 25. And this one, it's 0.1 out of 100. So it's 0.1 out of 100, but you can't have 0.1 out of 100. We have to change both that. So that 0.1 out of 100 would be the same as 1 out of 1,000. And you can see the place value here. That's the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So anyway, so changing between fractions and decimals and all that sort of stuff. So fraction to decimal, the best way to do it is basically to go, like I said here, there's no coincidence that looks like divided by. So basically what you're doing is a top number, which is a numerator, divided by denominator. Decimal to fraction, you use your place value. For instance, if I had the decimal 0.68, I got tenths, hundredths, so it's going to be 68 out of 100, and then you simplify like we did before. Fractions to a percentage, fractions to a percentage, you can either go to decimal and then to percentage, which is pretty easy, because a decimal to a percentage, we're basically moving the decimal place, we're shifting it 2 places. So move decimal point 2 places, and so when I'm going from decimal to percentage, it's going to be going decimal, it's going to be moving to the right, and the other way it's going to be left. So you can go around this way if you want to go fraction to percentage. The other way to go fraction to percentage is make fraction out of 100. So if I had 1 on 20, I could make that 5 out of 100, which would be 5%. That sort of idea. Percentage to a fraction, it's out of 100. Same thing, it's out of 100. So, and then simplify. For instance, 32% equals 32 on 100, and I simplify 16 on 50, 8 on 25, that sort of idea. All right, let's have a look at some of the other types of questions. Finding a percentage of an amount. Okay, well, you've got 38% of 240. So what I could do is find 1% of 240 is going to be, well, 1% is 1 for every 100, and so that is going to be, move my decimal point 2 places, doing, so it's going to be 2.4. So 38% is going to be how many times bigger? It's going to be 38 times bigger. So it's basically going to be 2.4 times 38. So I'll just bring up my calculator. 2.4 times 38 equals 91. So that's 91.2, and I think that was in dollars, so it would be $91.20. That's that type of question. The other type of question you get is finding one thing as a percentage of another. Find one thing as a percentage of another. So what percent of 240 is 40? So what you need to do is you need to make it a fraction. So the fraction is, it's 40 out of 240, right? 40 out of 240, which is the same as, okay, I'm going from a fraction to a decimal to start with, and I'm going to go 40 out of, or divided by 240, which equals 0.16666, 0.1666, and that's basically 6 repeater. And that, as a percentage, is, I move the decimal place point 2 places, doing, which is basically 0.1, is 16.666 repeater, which is basically 16.67 to 2 decimal places.